All right, here we go. Okay, welcome once again to the Legion of Reason for September 23rd, 2018. It's been a tough time for Pope Francis and his coterie of criminal characters in the Vatican. We're going to be talking ad nauseum about that. I have a whole intro written, and I when I finished, I realized, oh, yeesh, why bother? We're going to. There's just too many topics to cover in the intro. Before that, we're going to, well, maybe not before, maybe we'll start with that. But after that, if we start with the Catholic Watch, we're going to be looking at the Regressive Left files in jolly old England. South Yorkshire police plea for citizens to denounce their neighbours by not only reporting hate crime on social media, but also non-crime hate incidents, whatever that means. And hold on to your love handles, because everything you know about obesity is wrong, apparently, at least according to a recent HuffPo piece. But first, before that, I'll probably talk about a little film I went to see at the Calgary International Film Festival, Behind the Curve, which was an interesting documentary on the flat Earth community. Anyway, how's everybody doing this weekend?
It's very snowy here, and a lot of the leaves that weren't quite ready to fall got smashed to the ground from under the weight of the wet snow.
Oh, so yeah, you were not that bad. We'd got a little bit of rain, but nothing serious.
Yeah. I saw your photos on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
My furnace will turn off shortly.
Oh, good.
Can you mute until
I can definitely hear it. So yeah, I went yesterday to the Calgary International Film Festival, and they had Behind the Curve, and it was a very interesting look at some of the more prominent members of the flat Earth community, if you want to, for lack of a better term.
What in general, what are their titles in their working lives?
Titles? They don't have titles. There's a few engineers in there. There's but most of them are just regular people who can't reconcile what they see around them with a spherical Earth. And one of the things I learned about them is a lot of them like cats, which is kind of strange. But it's kind of funny because there's some decent experiments that they're trying to do that are supposedly would prove that the Earth is flat. One involved a very sensitive gyroscope, and they said, okay, if the Earth is turning, then we should see 15 degrees per hour deviation in the axis of spin. And of course, it's exactly what they see. But there's no. It's always pushing the goalpost somewhere else. They're moving the goalpost and try to rationalize away the failures of their experiments. And
the success of showing the Earth is not flat of their experiments.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. I mean, I'll just I'm gonna play a clip here, and this is from Behind the Curve.
The time I ever heard about flat earthers was, I think, when I was in space last. I can't believe I'm talking about this.
I was well versed in just about every conspiracy you can think of.
Chemtrails, 9/11.
Did you know they made up dinosaurs?
I completely solved the JFK assassination, which I'll share with you at a different day.
And then Mark said that he was a member of the Flat Earth Society. And I said, oh, Mark, what are you on to now?
This is what it is.
Excuse me, anyone ever told you the Earth is flat?
I caught his smile and he wasn't buying it.
Nobody wants to admit that they've been fooled, but it's happened to every one of us.
If you look on Google Trends, it's like spike.
There's now flat earth dating sites. I mean, we've got songs.
why is it expanding the way it is?
And online, you'll see so-called evidence that seems scientific, and you go, maybe they're onto something there.
Science is having a problem combating what we're doing.
Because they don't know how to address it.
I want to believe this. This doesn't mesh with reality, so don't change my view, change reality.
Now we're doing an international conference.
It's okay to believe all this is really happening. At a conference, we want to prove there's no curvature. And if we can do that, it's game over.
Can we get to the point where it's acceptable?
Yeah, that's...
They're so proud to have their what do you call it? The groups that are... Sorry. Cults.
Well, it's a lot of conspiracy theory people, and it was interesting because there were actually splinter groups within the flat Earth community that were, that there's a dome over the Earth, and various levels of nut hattery. It was just a really interesting look, and of course they talked to the astronauts, and the astronaut was like, what the hell? Why am I talking about this now? But so it was fun. I quite enjoyed it. I would probably give it a 4 out of 5, and it was
entertainment.
Yeah, well, it was definitely an interesting look at a closer look at community that we know is out there, because the 2018 conference in Edmonton, which had involved, I don't know what you do at these conferences. Okay, the Earth is flat. Okay. What do they do? They talk about all the times when people laughed at them? I mean, I don't know. It's more support group than anything else, I would think.
Well, and of course, there's a lot of when I saw who some of the speakers were, I thought they were related to churches. They were all quite religious. Some of them.
Not all of them, though. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all, because you certainly don't have to be any type of religion to be have lack of critical thinking. I guess you would say, in anything that you have to confirm your bias, you're going to cling to, and of course these groups will give each other that.
Well, sure, yeah. That's what one of the things about this is, like church, where they get together and buttress each other with social network. But there's nobody with a PhD in science to these things. And what do you do about these people? They've left themselves behind. And how do you bring them? You can't. There's a point at which there's diminishing returns about trying to be inclusive and get people moving forward. You can't force people to, short of putting them on the next SpaceX rocket. What do you do? I mean, even then, I'm sure they'd find a way to rationalize it away.
That what they're looking at is a movie or something instead of reality. Yeah, that's
something else. So, NASA, of course, is a conspiracy, and yet you'd also have to include the Russians. The Russians must be buying into it, and now that others, India, China, that have. I don't know if India's sent anybody in space. China has.
And Japanese has a probe that just landed on an asteroid, I think, too. So.
Yeah, the models that they come up with are really bizarre. Yeah, Earth and the Moon are rotating. The funny thing was, I was thinking with these, the flat Earth and the Earth on one. There's a bar that goes across on a pivot point. And the sun's over on one, the moon's on another, and they rotate around, and that's how you get day and night cycles. Well, how do you get the phases of the moon? How has nobody found that pivot point in the center with the big thing holding up the sun and the moon? I don't know. It's an exercise in frustration that I understand people don't want to get involved in. But they don't want to waste their time with this. So
yeah, I can't even understand how you're actually able to formulate questions to challenge it, basically. Yeah. Just, what?
They did another experiment where they would have they tried to use a laser, and they used a poor laser. So the beam spread was too wide, but they tried to, they've got, the laser is at 8 feet on one end, and the beam hits at 8 feet on the other end of, say a couple of miles, just difference between the 2 points. And in the middle, you measure the height. And if the Earth is curved, of course, the height in the middle, where the light beam passes, is going to be shorter because of the Earth's curvature. Yeah, they couldn't get it to work. I was too bad, because that would have I would love to have seen what the look on their faces when they found out. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. But they'd rationalize it away. They couldn't do it that way, so what they did was they had a light shining through 2 holes, through holes in a couple of boards, and then they measure the height of the light at a certain point, and they couldn't even see the light. And they said it was weeds. Weeds got in the way. Yeah, right.
Oh, are we running on Facebook?
Oh, we should be. Let me see. Yeah, we are.
Okay.
All right.
There we go. Okay.
Next. What do we got next? Yeah, what is next? Are we going to go straight into Catholic Watch, or are we going to...
There's a lot of Catholic Watch.
Oh, wow. Shitload of Catholic Watch. Yeah. I'll just press this.
It's now time for the Legion of Reasons Catholic Watch.
Yeah, the problems never end now for poor Pope Frank. It's like every day now that there's something new coming up. I think we'll talk about the leaked report in the Netherlands that where 20 of 39 cardinals, bishops, and auxiliaries were found to have covered up priestly pedophilia over the last 65 years. That's the German one. Where is that's Der Spiegel. We'll get to that. Here we go. All right, hit this one. Dutch Catholic Church accused of widespread sexual abuse cover-up. This is in The Guardian. So, more than half of the senior clerics in the Netherlands were involved in hiding crimes. At what point do people say, okay, we're going to stop trusting the church altogether and we're going to get police to look at this? Four of these 20 abused children, and 16 others were involved in what's known as the system, which is transferring pedophile priests to fresh hunting grounds, basically, in order to hide crimes. And I love this. Who could have caused new victims in other parishes? Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah,
of course it did. It's just, this is a worldwide thing. There's only one continent where this hasn't happened: Antarctica. And I'm not even sure about that. There's a post office in Antarctica, but I don't think there's a Catholic church anywhere. But this is just every day something else is coming out, and yes, a lot of them are old, but not all of them are old cases. And I have no idea what the church is doing to prevent new ones. There's protocols in place that are, how to handle fresh cases. But I don't
fresh.
know. Yeah, literally fresh. So, the names of several bishops correspond to those named in a report commissioned by the church in 2010. And unfortunately, most of the accused clerics have since died, and in all cases, the statute of limitations had expired. There's even I missed this because I didn't get to read this very much beforehand. Meanwhile, in France, a priest has been charged with sexually abusing 4 siblings, now aged 13 to 17. Yeesh. It's a 64-year-old priest. It just goes on and on. It's not stopping.
Yeah, they were all in the choir.
Oh.
All the siblings.
No.
The thing is, they're not getting the message that you can't be alone with children. They're just not getting that message. You could not do this in a public school. No way.
Well, they don't shift teachers around the way they do.
Oh, that too.
The priests.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that a public school does when they have an allegation is you get the teacher out, on paid leave. And then investigate.
Not in another school.
Yeah. I have no idea what they do in the Catholic system. I'm joking, of course, but I don't know. They must have the same protocols in place for Catholic schools, right? I mean, they've got it.
Well, they're publicly funded, so I would assume.
Well, yeah. That doesn't seem to mean anything.
Yeah.
They don't respect that it is public funds. What that entails. It's all infused with Catholicism. What else we got? Leaked report in Germany, over 3,600 cases of sexual abuse, and between 1946 and 2014. So these aren't all old. It's still happening.
Yeah.
1,670 clerics are accused of sexual misconduct. Researchers had examined and evaluated more than 38,000 personnel and other files from 27 German dioceses. This was, by the way, leaked to Der Spiegel, and we're going to come back to them in a bit. What did he say? Bishop Stephen Ackerman of Trier. We are aware of the extent of sexual abuse that is proven by the results of the study. It is oppressive and shameful for us. That's it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, really, yeah.
I don't know. For me, there's nothing short of the dissolution of the Catholic Church that would satisfy me.
Yeah, they certainly don't know how to respond to alleviate public concern.
They're tone deaf. They're
just like, we're going to pray and pour us. We're.
Yeah, like they're going to do penance, like as if that is actually punishment. I'm like, oh boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. No, you're going to prison. You can do whatever penance you want in your cell. Ackerman also criticized the leak of the study, of course he would, documenting the abuse of minors by priests and religious in Germany between the years of 1946 and 2014. In a statement from the German Bishops' Conference, Ackerman said, "I regret that the study, which has remained confidential so far and is the result of 4 years of research on the subject of sexual abuse of minors by Catholic priests, deacons, and male religious in the area of the German Bishops' Conference, was published today." Good. Whoever leaked this. Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, I'm going to do... Where's it? There we go. Hey. I love this thing. It is amazing. This is... I'm using what's called a Stream Deck. And I just push a button and everything happens over there. And I don't have to worry about what things crashing, and oh yeah, it's just awesome. And hey, where's my royalty, or not royalty, but endorsement check? They're El Gato. It's, you know, why should these things remain confidential? Why are they upset that they get leaked?
Yeah, well, I think the reason's obvious. Like, you know, they don't want to get caught, and now they've been caught, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse every day.
They should have been out in front of this and published it themselves for transparency, and they just haven't learned. You know.
Oh, this is interesting in that article. During Bergoglio's time as cardinal, many abuse victims in Buenos Aires turned to him for help. Nobody was permitted.
That's coming up in the Der Spiegel thing. Bergoglio is that's Pope Francis' original name. Let's go to the Der Spiegel thing then. Yeah, get out of here. Ad for something.
Yeah, it sounded kind of German.
Der Spiegel published a 19-page report which was highly critical of Pope Francis's popeship. I guess that's what you call it. The cover story titled "Thou Shalt Not Lie" and subtitled "The Silence of the Shepherds." Yeah, that's pretty scathing.
Appropriate.
Yeah. Now this I hate because this article cites LifeSite News or LifeSite News, probably is more accurate. But they're reporting on something that's actually been published. The report covers cases such as that of Father Inzoli, a convicted abuser laicized by Pope Benedict, Pope Palpatine, but restored to the priestly state by Francis. Are you kidding me? Like, so much for there's more compassion for. This is what they found in Pennsylvania, the grand jury. There was more compassion for the perpetrator than there ever was for the victim. He's such a good priest otherwise. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, very, very tone deaf.
Yeah, they don't get it.
The magazine where this was published, I guess, says adding, there are currently 62 trials in process against Argentine priests. The number of their victims could be in the thousands, but there are actually 62 trials in process.
Yeah, well, the thing is, maybe not all of them are actionable. Like, they might not have enough evidence or whatever, but yes, certainly they could have. They almost certainly will have many more victims than criminal trials. So they probably get a class action suit. I have no idea what Argentine law is on that, but there's no way Francis couldn't have known. It's impossible, because these would have been reported up the chain. Well, guess where the buck stops? The buck stops with Cardinal Bergoglio, or Francis, whatever you want to call him.
And some of the victims in this article say they wrote him directly, and one of these folks in the article, Gallego, says that in 2006 he had a conversation with the then Cardinal Bergoglio. He was withdrawn, mistrusting. He said no word about the fact that the church paid Grassi's lawyers. The current image of an open, sympathetic Pope Francis does not fit the man whom I sat in front at the time.
Yeah, the Grassi case is kind of interesting. Grassi is a priest who was accused of sexual abuse of minors and is now in prison for raping teenage boys. And the Pope, or not the Pope, well, he wasn't the Pope then, but he was Cardinal Bergoglio.
And he was aware of this.
The lawyers. Yeah, he was aware of this and protected, I'm not. I can't say that I fault him for paying for the lawyers, because the church has a right to a defense, but to
But the church paid for the lawyer, not the priest himself.
No, that's true, and I think that's okay. I'm not gonna fault them on that. I don't have to.
Another good reason not to tithe, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. If I was a teacher and the school paid for my defense, I'd kind of be laughing at myself. Like, I don't have to pay for this; my employer is.
Often that is the case. Your employer, it depends on what you have for a
job.
Yeah, it really does. Like you would have the union in the case of a school, it would be the teachers' union that would be in charge of funding the defense. So that was Der Spiegel. And so the thing is, the focus is, up till now, the Pope has been sort of above all this. I'll put that in scare quotes.
Whereas this article puts him right in it. Yeah. He says a legal defender for the Argentine abuse survivors, Juan Pablo Galego, says Pope Francis is now in exile in Rome, has found his refuge there, so to speak, and adds that in Argentina, Francis faces the suspicion that he protected for years rapists and abusers of children.
Yep. He's right in the middle of it now. So if the Der Spiegel report is correct, then we'll see what happens. But
he's complicit.
Yeah, he's absolutely in the thick of things. This is something else about the German. This is unbelievable. Cardinal Marx, this is a German cardinal, says mistakes were made in handling abuse.
Really?
In other words, we screwed up and got caught. Like it's just
we made some purposeful mistakes. Oh, they've been found out.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. The church experiences highs and lows, said Cardinal Marx. Particularly in these days, we are thinking about the dark sides of what has happened and what is happening within the church. Okay. We stand on the side... We stand on the sides of the victims of sexual abuse. That is our continual duty. Except that they completely abandoned it. But, we should take criticism as encouragement to grapple with this task. I love this. Sin and violence are present throughout the history of the church, he said. It is deeply disturbing that people within the church experience evil from people who are supposed to proclaim the gospel. So, same old, same old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like how they use the word evil there.
Well, I don't
it's people that got away with things. It's not a matter of good and evil. I mean, they chose to do things that hurt people, and I guess you could define that as evil. But who then do they lay evil at the feet of? Satan, and then they just need to be cleansed of their sins, and Satan can take the blame, and they're okay now.
Satan, also known as the Great Accuser, or whatever it is in the other article that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're coming up on that.
Huh.
Yeah. Where are we here? Oh, yes. Chilean officials raid 4 dioceses in sex abuse investigation. Now, in Chile, there's been accusations that the bishops have been destroying evidence. But on the September 15th in Santiago, as part of an investigation into sexual crimes against minors, they carried out raids on the 13th, and they hit 4 offices of 4 dioceses, and it's an ongoing thing. I have a cameo. Hey kitty, come here. Hello. Say hello. Oh, he's purring.
I hear the purring.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what comes of that. That'll be interesting. And So I guess they've been carrying out a bunch of raids, and getting as much evidence as they can to prosecute them, and I hope they do.
Yep.
Cardinal. Let's see. Oh, this is Timothy Dolan. Yeah. Cardinal Timothy Dolan. You remember this guy? He was trying to hide church assets to keep them from being used in compensating victims. He's announced the appointment of an archdiocesan, this is hard to say, archdiocesan special counsel, who will be tasked with an independent review of protocols for responding to allegations of sexual abuse. And of course they pick someone who's Catholic. That's not independent to me. I don't know. It doesn't seem very independent to me. Maybe she can set aside her Catholicism. It's Judge Barbara Jones, and so she's going to take. She's not tasked with investigating any allegations. It's all about the protocols and etc.
Their processes.
Yeah, I mean it's like getting ISO'd for pedophilia. What is that? ISO 20,217? I don't know. Sorry, work talk. I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of ISO. Yeah. It's more. We'll see if this is anything other than window dressing. Even our many critics do admit we've made a lot of progress in dealing with the abuse of minors. Now we need to be. I don't remember ever saying that. I've never said that. I've never admitted any such thing. Now we need to be. What's that?
What are you talking about?
Well, he said even our many critics do admit we've made a lot of progress in dealing with the abuse of minors. I've never.
Did they give any examples?
No, he doesn't.
Critics?
It's like these people, somewhere over there. Yeah. No, not them. No, not them. They're real people. Those ones over there. It's fake news. So I trust Timothy Dolan as much as I could throw his whatever he drives. He obtained permission from the Vatican to move $57 million a few years back. This is where is this? In 2013. $57 million of church funds into a trust to shield it from sexual abuse victims seeking compensation. Yeah, it's doing fantastic job there, Timothy Dolan. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so you think he's not going to do the same in this case to hide stuff?
No one trusts you, Tim.
You hid stuff, and you're going to hide some more.
Yeah, and you got caught.
Well, yeah.
And in India, as if things couldn't get any worse. Anywhere else in the world, in India, a bishop there has been accused of rape. He has since been arrested, but he, of course, gave up his resignation. I suppose he was trying to avoid prosecution. Didn't work. Bishop Franco Milakal is his name, and he repeatedly raped a nun over 2 years. That's the accusation. This is one of the other dirty secrets of the church. That is nun abuse. It's rampant throughout the church. It's not very well documented, but we know about it. And 7 nuns gathered in a public square in Kochi earlier this month to protest how both police and the church have responded to one nun's accusation that Bishop Milakal raped her in 2014 and sexually abused her multiple times over 2 years. If she went to the police and they didn't do anything, that's shame on them. They should themselves be prosecuted. Exactly. And of course, and here's a picture of His Royal Highness Bishop Franco. What kind of an Indian name is that? Franco Malacca. Sorry, I'm showing I'm being very un-PC. Yeah, sex abuse in the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's a big problem.
And he's victim blaming, saying that the nun was being accused of having an affair with her cousin's husband.
Yeah, well, so what?
Yeah, and did I not see something, maybe this wasn't the same case, but where, basically they were saying some woman who had been raped, so she's just a prostitute, everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, a prostitute can be raped.
Oh, and in the nun case, 3 more women have accused him in recent days.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
The Congregation Superior General maintains that he's innocent.
Yeah, yeah. The prisons are full of innocent people. Good luck.
Innocent.
This is from the Catholic Herald in the UK. If the Church won't hold bishops accountable, then should the courts? And I think that's the go-to. That's the first thing you go to. But here's the thing: some fear that state investigations will lead to state interference, and I'm like,
yeah.
Where's the downside? I don't see a downside here. But the good news is that there are 3 states that are launching investigations: Michigan, New York, and New Jersey. And we'll see how those go. So they're organizing a legal task force to investigate crimes. Yeah, so that's good news. Now here's the story on the Michigan Catholic priest abuse investigation. Now, there is a kind of an insinuation in this article in the Detroit Free Press that the prosecutor, Attorney General Chouette, is trying to garner some votes. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, yeah, he was very strongly against legalizing same-sex marriage and a few other. He's a social conservative. But you know what? This I agree with. So there you go. I don't care what his motives are, really.
Yeah.
In this case,
it's the right thing to do. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I kind of, they're casting aspersions, and I don't agree that they should be doing that. Yes, Edmonton Archbishop Richard Smith of Edmonton, Alberta, he calls this the evil in our midst. Yeah. I kind of think that they are the evil. It's not in their midst, that you are the evil.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem that way.
Yeah.
This oh my God.
I miss Fred
I
Henry.
challenge anybody to think of one good thing that the Catholic Church has done over the last at least 200 years. Anything. Yeah.
That hasn't been tainted by proselytization and forcing religion on a people. And, did you hear about that? There was a question on an exam in Alberta. I can't remember what it was for, but what was one good thing about the residential schools?
Yeah, the teacher has since been fired or something like that.
Oh my God! What? Yeah. I mean, come on. So they learned how to read. You can do that without getting abused and potentially killed.
Or taken away from their parents. They could have very well set up schools in the area to teach people how to read.
I couldn't. So unbelievable.
They didn't have to take kids hundreds or separate families for basically ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, so I'm going to have to say, like the Catholic Immigration Society of Canada, I know we've got like a branch here, and they help, new Canadians adjust, and, they've got lots of programs, so I'll give credit for that one, but I don't really think it's associated with the church. Let's put it that way. It's probably just, well, it might very well be, but, so yeah, like you said, they've there's been some good, but a lot of, it's just offset by so much,
Yeah.
poison.
Exactly.
That pulses through to this very day,
There's not one bit of good of that they couldn't have done in the
that a
community.
secular person couldn't do. Yeah, exactly.
Or in their own communities without shipping kids far, far away from their parents. I mean, it's cheaper to kidnap all the kids and throw them all in one location, I guess, but it wasn't about that. It was about integrating. It was about turning them into good little Catholics.
How bizarre. You'd think just like doing the missionary thing or whatever would suffice.
Oh.
Right? Which is bad enough in and of itself, but to actually, separate families, and the stories of the mass graves at these homes for unwed mothers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, in Ireland.
Yeah. I think there's one or two here too, wasn't there?
I don't know.
Shit
I
dug
doubt
up here that's just sickening,
Yeah. What's next on the docket? Did we talk about that? Yeah. The evil. I miss Fred Henry. I really do.
No, I don't think we did talk about it. Oh, the evil in our midst. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Well, we kind of did. It's not much to.
Yeah.
It's more.
The guy in Edmonton is playing apologetics for rapists, basically.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Cardinal Timothy Dalton has spoken about how the extended sexual abuse scandals facing the church have taken a personal toll on him. Oh, can I get an aw? Do I have something in the soundboard? No, I don't. I don't have anything like that. I have this though. There, that's close enough. I love this thing.
Who cares about the victims? What about me? What about me?
Yeah, it's just amazing. If you don't, he said, if you don't think that's wrenching, I tell you it's awful. This summer has been anything but a church picnic for us. It's been a disaster, one crisis after another. Oh, no.
Good, you damn well deserve it.
But what was he responding to? He said that his mother, who lives in an assisted living home, told him that people knew her son was a priest and that she was ashamed of the scandals and that she's embarrassed to be Catholic. So you think, yeah.
Why is she still Catholic?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're embarrassed to be Catholic,
she's probably not. But now she's got this son.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. That's more what it is. It's more about I have no son.
Well, I don't know that, but I'd be, if it were me, I'd be trying to talk my son out of the fucking church. Is basically what I'd be doing.
What else would he do? He's not qualified for anything.
I guess. Yeah,
what are you qualified for?
He's a salesman. He's been selling religion.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, that's true. Go to another church that isn't so bad.
Like United?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of these abuses are not just in the Catholic Church. They're in other sects all over the place. So there's no safe haven. There's no sanctuary. Not here. Not in the church.
And it's not necessarily a religious thing either. For example, think of coaches, people who aspire
anything in
scout leaders and shit like that, right?
Positions of power. Like
around children.
Like that guy that the American gymnastics coach.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible. I mean, how did that go that far?
Well, kids, when you're a child, you don't know who to talk to.
That's true.
You get told that you're making things up. No one listens to you. You have no credibility. So when you finally grow up and get a voice, it finally enables the ones that are currently getting molested to speak out. But it takes someone older usually to speak out first.
Yeah.
Probably. or even just the first person to speak out. You know, doesn't necessarily have to be in. But I get where you're coming from. You know.
Yeah, in this case, it was the adults. People that grew up finally started talking.
Yeah.
And I've put up the phone line banner, so if anybody wants to phone in and comment on this, you can call us toll free at 587. Oh, come on. What is it again? 587. It's slowly coming into view. 587-288-1067. There we go. And you can call us toll free. And if anybody has a comment on the elephant in the room with the funny hat. Speaking of him,
I know that Vincent has been watching us, and I haven't been reading off comments because I'm hoping he'll call in. But I wanted to say, hey, we haven't talked about the Great Accuser or whatever the heck it is.
We're right at that now.
Okay.
Pope Francis, the Great Accuser, is trying to uncover sins to cause scandal. You know, it couldn't be because of the crimes themselves. That's not a scandal, apparently. In these times, it seems like the Great Accuser has been unchained and is attacking bishops.
The Great Accuser? What the...
I think he's
the devil.
Satan.
It's the devil, of course.
Yeah.
The Pope told bishops that they seem to be under attack from the devil. Oh, God.
They're calling these people devils now for telling the truth?
No, the devil made them do it.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Literally. The devil made them do it.
Yeah. Let's all pray for them. Fuck. It's just sickening, man.
True, we are all sinners, we bishops, he added. He tries to uncover the sins so they are visible in order to scandalize the people. Wow.
Holding people accountable for their actions is what now?
Satanic. Totally satanic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Fine, I hope they all burn in hell, every single bishop.
The Great Accuser, as he himself says to God in the first chapter of the book of Job, roams the earth looking for someone to accuse. Well, he doesn't need to leave the church, that's for sure. Easy pickings.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, like, where can you not roam these days where it's not fucking flying out of your face, some article about the next, major scandal with that church? Oh my God, this is just... this article just makes me want to lose my shit
so
entirely.
Out of
it's
touch.
Just,
like
I said, rape apologetics. If there's ever...
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
he's talking about bishops
the
being
accusations
chosen by God.
Yeah.
In this article, so they still were complete.
So what is the solution to all these scandals? Is it to hold people accountable whether they committed the crimes or hid them? No, here it is.
Pray for them.
Yeah.
No, a bishop's strength against a great accuser is prayer, that of Jesus in his own, and the humility of being chosen and remaining close to the people of God without seeking an aristocratic life that removes this unction. Let us pray today for our bishops, for me, for those who are here, and for all the bishops throughout the world. Bishops must remain humble, he added, because they were chosen by God.
Well, they
Holy shit.
Be humble.
God makes some pretty fucked up choices, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Their God's pretty stupid.
And evil.
He also said the bishop who loves Jesus is not trying to climb a ladder, advancing his vocation as if it were a mere task or seeking a better... Bullshit! That is all politics. That's how bishops are advanced. You don't advance by not wanting to advance.
Yeah, exactly.
No! My God. Mon Dieu! What a load of bullshit this was.
It's like blaming the FBI for Trump's crimes.
Yeah, victim blaming and rape apologetics is what I get from this article.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show in a moment here. Are we done with the Catholic Watch? Let me just.
Yeah, I want to throw up now.
For now. Yeah.
For now. Yeah. Till next episode, because that's what's going to happen, right? It's going to be Every day there's something
Those
new.
poor bishops are going to have the accuser on them again. Oh, no.
Yeah.
How about stop raping kids?
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
What a novel idea.
Yeah. And how about not being your own internal investigators?
Yeah.
Keep enabling it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You just have to shake your head. I want to find that tweet before we move on. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I posted on Facebook about, I can't remember what the posting was, probably something to do with that protest on Sundays, right? And I know quite a lot of, moderate Catholic people and that kind of thing, and I seriously wonder, because the tide is changing such that when you hear the word Catholic, you kind of cringe, right?
Yep.
It's becoming very, very negative associations are, becoming part of that word now. And
maybe some kids won't get raped now.
Well, maybe some people will leave the church, is what I'm hoping. And so, how can you still identify as a Catholic and
if they haven't left by now, there's no.
Well, there might be people thinking, oh, I'm working from inside to change, or you know what I mean, like.
Like that University of Toronto professor who thinks that universities are bastions of white supremacy. He's doing it from the inside. I don't know. It's a religion.
Yeah, but then there might be somebody else who's like, oh my God, this guy represents the degree I'm earning. I better stay around because I have to try and salvage my
well, he gets his paycheck
degree.
from the University of Toronto.
Yeah.
What a hypocrite! if he's an absolute asinine moron. I mean, yeah. Just follow this guy named on Twitter. His handle is Black Like Who. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. There's some deeper meaning, I'm sure, underneath that.
Well, there's a novel called Black Like Me.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
But yeah.
Was it a novel or was it more an experiment, or I think novel based on true stories, essentially, whatever. Experiences, diary.
He took a drug which increased the melanin level in his skin, and and he wrote about his experiences.
Yeah, white people can get black actually with that drug now. I've seen that.
It's also very toxic.
Even their hair color even changes. Yeah. Everything. They look black. This lady is white as me with blonde hair from Sweden or something. She took them and she appeared on Botched because she had a plastic surgery that went bad, but they showed pictures of her before she took the drug and then after, and she does look black.
Wow.
What was that?
It's crazy.
Was that what's her name? The
Linda, what the oh shit.
No, this
not Linda.
This lady was trying to be one of the human dolls or something stupid, and then she started taking that drug and went black instead. And it's crazy. You can get it.
Yeah, it's also toxic.
Well, why would
at those levels? Why
would you take such a thing? Is there
because she thought
I'm a cracker.
She thought she was more beautiful. I mean, this is a person that was getting all kinds of plastic surgery, breast augmentation, nose jobs, everything else. So then she took that. She thought she looked better, and then she was trying to get her nose bigger after to look more black. This person is off her rocker, but she just did it for how it looked.
Yeah, but how did this particular pill or whatever come into being? Did it have some kind of import into actual medical technology and it was found to be a side effect, or what? Or was this actually developed for that? Or?
It just, you start overproducing melatonin, like the melanin, I mean, whatever. They must have figured out. It's actually pretty easy to trigger. The sun triggers it. So you you can figure out what the sun does to trigger this and make a drug that will affect the skin the same way, only a lot more.
Wow.
It can turn someone as white as me black.
I'm just curious, like, who developed it and why, and
I'll have to look into that. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. The sun can do it, so you just figure out the chemical composition of what the sun triggers in the skin to make more color, pigmentation, and you just put it in a pill.
Fascinating.
Because that is a chemical reaction. Our skin reacts to the sun exposure, produces chemicals which you can take orally.
So is it by prescription, or is it
no? She got it
or what?
Internet.
Oh, okay. Huh.
You can buy this stuff off the internet.
Wow.
Or you can go to any doctor and try to get it too. But whether or not the doctor will ethically prescribe it is the question. So it's much easier just to go on the internet.
Yeah. Huh.
Right.
Because, like, I remember when they used to do tanning pills or whatever kind of thing, but they were actually, like, basically, they turn you orange because they were, like, carrot-based.
Yeah, no, yeah, those were
carotene. That reminds me so much of Trump. It's got to be taking that shit, don't you think?
I would think, yeah. And he wouldn't want to be black, so there's no way he's going to take the actual drug to get that dark, so.
And why isn't he, like, getting a bit of a tan when he goes golfing all the time? What the hell, you know?
He's probably challenged like I am pigmentally.
Wait, should we move on?
Yep.
Okay.
Vince is not calling in tonight.
The Regressive Left Files.
So last week there was a knife attack in, I guess it was in South Yorkshire in England, and there was a lot of racist tweets going on. You know, there was the belief that it was multiple attackers and it was a terrorist attack. It wasn't, and so the South Yorkshire Police posted this tweet. I think I've seen it before, actually. It says, in addition to reporting hate crime, please report non-crime hate incidents. What are those, actually, by the way? Which can include things like offensive or insulting comments. Like, what? Which can, like, online, in person, or in writing. Hate will not be tolerated in South Yorkshire. Report it and put a stop to it. Hashtag hate hurts. SY. Can you believe this? So offensive or insulting comments. Oh, and of course everybody piled on to this and saying, "Oh, I'm offended by this tweet."
No kidding. Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm offended by people
action.
who are perpetually offended, frankly.
Are you serious? I immediately thought of, I don't remember where I read this. It's in a novel, denunciation. You denounce your fellow person and give them up to torture. I can't remember what book that's in.
It sounds like a Monty Python sketch.
No, it sounds like it, but it's much more sinister than that. But
I'm going to be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry, but this is just I don't know what to say to this. Like,
it's just too open to interpretation.
Big brother,
a witch hunt.
It's. There people were making parallels to 1984, of course, and Orwell, Big Brother's watching you kind of thing. I just don't understand. Do police not have enough to do in South Yorkshire that they have to police things that aren't criminal? I mean, there's some scandal going on where 96 officers were. It's mentioned in the clip I'm about to play, I think, and this is from a talk radio show, which is I love what she said here. Julia Hartley Brewer on police push to investigate non-crime hate incidents. If it's not a crime, it's none of your bloody business. And yeah, I just don't get it. So there was a knife attack in Barnsley. This is what precipitated all of this. And there was speculation online about whether or not it was terrorism or that it was multiple offenders. And I guess there was a lot of racist comments going on. And those are reprehensible. But this is just driving this underground, man. And I agree with Jonathan Pye. Jonathan Pye says, I don't want this driven underground. I want it in the sunlight where it can be seen and can be refuted. And I so agree with him. I should play that clip sometime. It's a wonderful rant. It's awesome. Here's that same tweet. It's crazy. It can report anything. Anything offends. The word hello could offend people. I don't.
Well, apparently, Happy Saturnalia and anything not Merry Christmas is extremely offensive.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? So I'm going to play a little clip here. Let's see if I can get it started. Come on, you.
National rise of 21%, including a very, very serious violent crime. I'm sure some people's feelings are hurt, but is that a top priority for the police?
I was at a meeting yesterday in the Winter Gardens in Chilean City Centre where we were looking at knife crime, and we gathered together people from different communities. Now, some of those were people from different ethnic minority communities, precisely the sort of people who were deeply affected by the incident that happened on Saturday. And I
think the people who were most affected by the incident on Saturday were the people who were terrified out of their wits when a 6-foot woman ran through the town shouting "kill, kill, kill" with a large knife in her hand.
No, you're absolutely wrong. Partly, I suppose, because
I'm wrong.
Here. Well, you're wrong in the sense that it wasn't only those people. Those people were affected.
No, I said the people who are most... You're telling me that someone who saw a nasty tweet the day after an incident in which someone ran down the street shouting "kill, kill, kill" in the middle of the city, and you're saying that, well, no, their feelings may well have been hurt just as much.
No, I'm saying to you that on Saturday when that incident happened, there were a lot of people affected. Market traders, people who were shopping in the town centre, people who were passing by, they were deeply affected by that. Also, because of the vile racist comments that were put on social media and elsewhere, and the rumours that ran around, other people were affected as well, well beyond the town centre, and that included some people from ethnic minority groups, not only in Barnsley, but in other parts of South Yorkshire.
You have, can I just say, trial and billings, you have repeatedly, in virtually every answer you've given to me, you've talked about our communities, you've talked about trust, and you've talked constantly about ethnic minority groups and religious groups. That has been the theme throughout all of your answers. Now, maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe it's because the person I am, I don't know. I think that most people in this country, regardless of the skin colour, their religion or anything else, they just want the police to do their job. They want the police to be on the streets, but Bobby's on the beat. They want if they record a crime to have that crime investigated, and they want their work done. I don't think they think the police should be remotely involved in the communities, ethnic relations, other than where there is a crime involved.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with the last bit, but I get where she's coming from. Are we seriously going to be calling non-hate crime or non-crime? They're all of a sudden elevating those to the level of crime? I mean,
well, if there's nothing that they can be criminally charged for, then what's the point?
I don't know. And why waste police resources on this?
Yeah, exactly. When there's been these grooming gangs,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where are your resources going? There's only so many resources, and what are your priorities? What did she call it? The Hurdy Feelings line?
She called the Hurdy Feelings hotline. Hurty Feelings Helpline. Which that's pretty much it. Yeah, that kind of.
Not to say there might not be a place for that, but it certainly doesn't reside with paid public employees who are supposed to have the work to do.
1-800 dial a therapist. Okay, that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
Come on, I cannot believe that people. This guy, he's a theologian, by the way. That's his expertise on policing. That's where it comes from. I don't know how, but I looked him up, and she's got a point that the people that were most affected are the ones who were in the vicinity, who had to actually potentially deal with a knife-wielding maniac. Okay.
Yeah.
If I lived in that town and I wasn't downtown, it wouldn't affect me in the slightest.
Yeah, but certainly if I were right there within visibility of it and all that kind of stuff, I'd be fucked up for a little while for sure, Yeah.
It's just bizarre. This victim, it just screams of this victimhood mentality, this victim culture that is, bubbling up from the slimy ooze that it came from, where it should have stayed. Victimhood is the new empowerment. It's just weird. I don't get it.
That's an interesting way to phrase it. Yeah.
It's really good. I've been reading a book on the phenomenon. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it treats it as a sociological phenomenon, and history has had honor cultures where that's how when Aaron Burr shot they used it as an example when Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton in a duel, and Alexander Hamilton didn't really want to do the duel, but his honor was at stake, right? Whereas you and I'd be like, oh, screw that. I'm not. That's silly. The whole thing is silly. How does that resolve issues and disputes? It doesn't make any sense. But I see a bit of honor culture in that disaster of a movie. At least I thought it was a disaster of a movie. Was the Black Panther? Oh, what a horrible film.
I haven't seen it.
Does anyone think out there that Mortal Kombat is a good way for the transfer of power to a head of state? Like, are you kidding me?
Clearly, because it's happened in history.
Well, sure, it's happened in history, but it's also been disastrous. It's been disastrous. I mean,
the biggest bully wins and gets to rule.
For every good king that there was, the next set of progeny sucked. You get random. You get a box of chocolates, as Forrest Gump would have said. You don't know what.
Genetics is a jumble for a reason.
Yeah, and the upbringing as well. I mean, did they get a proper? They'll get a proper education, but did they get a proper understanding of how to wield power? This is not. Being the son or daughter of a monarch is not a good way to. It's not a. And what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a. It's
sustainable?
Not something. No, it's just not an aptitude. There we go. That's not an aptitude.
Okay.
Yeah. They were assuming the firstborn was born with all the qualities of a leader.
Yeah, and it did provide stability, in times when there was none. But now,
and then you got an entitled prick.
A lot of
But the thing is,
people believe that shit.
In nobility, you start getting these entitled pricks. So, of course, they're not going to give a crap about the people.
Yeah. Wow, I think, holy crap, that's it. Like, is that all I got? Oh, no, we got one more. I got one more to go. Yeah.
My favorite.
Oh, yeah. Everything you know about obesity is wrong. wrong. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is a journalist who went online and gathered a bunch of stuff together. He has no background in science, and obviously has no ability to actually, find a good study or a good source.
And he cherry picks.
He didn't learn anything about metabolism. And yes, you shouldn't fat shame. No, that's not going to help. And no, diets don't help. It's a lifestyle. You have to not eat too much every day of your life. You can't go on a diet and then go back to what you were doing. Diets don't work. I agree with that. But he also trotted out the tropes. Doctors don't know what they're talking about. He also trotted out the tropes about metabolism that are all wrong. He doesn't know a thing about metabolism. So if you want to go into some of that, Randy, that you have prepared.
Oh, do I?
Do you?
No, well, I just, obesity is a risk factor in a whole bunch of disorders, and including diabetes,
cancer,
type 2, certain cancers like colon, breast cancer, and it's associated with esophageal cancer, which is 100% lethal, and a few others. It's a health risk for cardiac problems and stroke problems. Gout is another one, and osteoarthritis is a big one. And it's an interesting argument that this guy makes. He says people are not the average, and I'm just like, yeah, but people make the statistics. Okay, so you're at a higher risk factor for these things. Maybe you should think about, dropping some pounds. There's no good way to say, you need to drop a bunch of weight.
But the article is full of reasons about why people can't do that, and they're all completely wrong.
Yeah. It conflates two things. One is fat shaming, and the other is sound medical advice.
Yeah.
Sound medical advice is not fat shaming. Okay.
Yeah, you can't say all doctors fat shame. You can't say all doctors are too stupid to know about diet and nutrition. That they're all. He's saying that all doctors are wrong, except for, of course, the doctors that say.
No one can tell me that. I'm sorry. I as a person, Carissa Enneking, this picture of her here, is not the least bit attractive. I'm sorry. That is something that is hardwired into brains. It's not something that changes with fat acceptance. I hate that. I am an enemy of fat acceptance, because you can be against fat acceptance without body, fat shaming. Those are two totally different things. And I just don't understand that this person who wrote this article is actually enabling people and saying it's okay to be fat,
giving them the excuses that your metabolism can't be changed. He brought up things not from sources that know anything about metabolism. Like I actually posted a bunch of articles about that counter his points. One of the big things that he's wrong about is metabolism. Heavier people actually have a higher metabolic rate than skinny people to meet the fuel demands of the larger body. If you have a bigger body, you're going to be expending fuel to deal with everything. Your body uses food for fuel. If you're bigger, you're going to have more needs for fuel because you have more cells. Every single cell needs fuel. So, and he's like, but if you lose weight, then if you stop eating, your metabolic rate goes down so much that you're going to just get fat again. No, your body's actually very good at dealing with the status quo. If you have less tissue, you will require less food. So that slowing of the metabolic rate makes sense. You're smaller. You need less fuel. That is not a bad thing.
Yeah, a lot of this has to do with fat shaming, and I completely agree. I mean, we shouldn't be.
Yeah, in his
doing
article.
Yeah.
And he basically accuses all doctors in society of fat
that's
shaming.
garbage.
No, it's about health, and he's denying that too. It's about
it's about pushing an agenda, is what this article is all about.
Yeah.
Right?
Which agenda? The fat acceptance?
Yeah.
It's denial of health. It's denial of what being overweight does for your health. You're 18% more likely to get cancer if you're overweight. You will get a higher chance of type 2 diabetes. The people that manage to control their weight within the first or second year being diagnosed or having type 2 diabetes can actually go into regression. They can actually be cured of it in a sense. But if you are overweight for 2, 3, 4 years and haven't been able to control your weight, you're going to end up dealing with type 2 diabetes the rest of your life. You have to catch it early, just like cancer. So to deny these simple factors in actual scientific studies, not anecdotal studies or things put out by people that don't understand metabolism, I didn't go into every single thing that the guy posted because you can tell by his conclusions that he's just pulled things together that confirmed his bias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the misdiagnoses, right? I think that could happen to anybody.
Yep.
It does happen to everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're fat, thin.
If I go in and I'm carrying a few extra pounds, I think the doctor would be wise to say, hey, what's going on? Why are you suddenly gaining weight or something, right?
When have you ever carried a few extra pounds?
What's that?
When have you ever carried a few extra pounds?
Right now.
Well, I have. My doctor told me I could lose 10, 20 pounds.
Drop your
and
purse.
I didn't disagree with that. I was getting up to 150 at one point, and I'm 5'1". That's dangerous for someone like me. So I just asked her, well, okay, what can I do? It's basically eat less.
Yeah. Calorie intake versus energy burn, right?
Yeah.
Find out for
energy
your
in, energy
body.
out.
You can take into account your size,
Yeah.
your height, everything.
Your activity
and
level.
Find out how much you need to eat per day for the rest of your life so that you stay at a certain weight. You can actually do that. And we have calorie counters now that will help you and everything else. I got more active, yes, because, that health benefit was my brain felt better too, not just my body. I feel stronger when I work out regularly, but I was less hungry, actually. And people will say that if they work out, they're more hungry. Well, I found I was less hungry, and that's an anecdote, I'm sorry, but you have to find what works for you. You have to go talk. You can ask your GP. A GP, yes, is not going to be a specialist on diet nutrition. There's registered dietitians. There's specialists. You can get a referral. You don't rely on your general practitioner.
Yeah, we're talking about Americans here, right? So maybe not so much helps us, Yeah.
I think Americans are so screwed.
Well, they only get reading the article, they only get 2 visits to nutritionists, whereas I guess about 12 would be, with this more compassion. I get that he's advocating for a more compassionate treatment method, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't deny.
But that's.
And don't
something they learn already.
And don't say that people can't do anything. That is not true.
That's exactly.
That is not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not true, and you can't deny what will happen to you if you don't get down to a healthy weight.
Yeah, like Randy says, there's a difference between fat shaming and fat acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Certainly, I'd never, But hey, if one of my close friends came to me and she was overweight, well, women do that, frankly, and said,
I wouldn't know.
What do you think? I'd be. Well, yeah, because what I think most people who are overweight are just straight up about it, right? Hey, I'm carrying too much weight and blah 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 kind of thing, right?
Well, you can walk with people. You can watch each other's diet. You can call each other when you're suddenly eating 10 pounds of chocolate one day because something upset you. So
you just drink a glass of water before you eat, or have some kind of a soup, or something. There's all kinds of little things that you can substitute to make it not so intolerable to change your lifestyle. And the next thing, you're still eating well, but you know.
There is some appetite control involved. The more fat cells you have, the more of a certain drug is going to be coming out of your system when those fat cells are starting to shrink. They're going to say, we're starving here, fill us up. If you have more fat cells, then it's going to be harder to control your appetite. But at some point, you've got to do that and deny those fat cells what they want.
But I think it's easier and more advisable to, you know, every month try and make a lifestyle change or something like that, right? So you're not like losing it all at once.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, I'm going to suddenly cut 20,000 calories out of my day if I've been eating that much. You have to slowly deny those fat cells.
Yeah, not only is that going to make...
You can't do it cold turkey.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to make the longer term plan, you know, just substitute out, I don't know, butter for, I don't know, something else. Like drop the butter, you know, use a vinaigrette instead of a cream dressing. Super easy stuff that works.
Cut calories.
Exactly. Walk a little bit more and blah, blah, blah.
And burn more calories. Cut them and burn them. You don't have to be a weight builder or anything else. You just have to increase your activity. You don't have to suddenly become a marathon runner. You can just walk.
Yeah.
And talk to your doctor and get a referral to a registered dietitian. There's people at gyms. They're trained. They can help you on your journey as well. You don't go to a GP and then get mad at the GP for not having all the solutions.
Yeah. Because they do have the resources.
Yeah, they can refer you.
Yeah.
So no,
and, you know,
if you want to accept yourself the way you are, but also accept some of the health consequences. I mean, I felt horrible at 150 at 5'1". I did, and now I'm down to 125. Only 25 pounds for me got me to a healthy weight. I mean, I could probably lose 10 more, but do I have to? No. I've accepted that I have a few extra pounds. That's fine.
Vanity weight, right? Yeah, that's fine.
You can do that, but don't accept 200 extra pounds or 50. You can work on it without feeling like you're not being accepted or that you won't be accepted until you do it. Again, this is a mindset. If you're going to feel like anyone telling you that you need to lose weight is an insult, where does that get you?
Yeah, I've actually seen people tweet, I went to the doctor today and my doctor fat shamed me by saying that...
trying to get them to be more healthy.
I'm like, no, that's not fat shaming. That's just sound medical advice. You know...
It's their job. It's their job to let you know that maybe
that was
you could be a little more healthy.
In the article, what was written was that, well, doctors think this is within their domain. I'm like, yeah! It is.
It's health.
It's part of their health, and they're worried about your health. Okay, that's their job. Yeah. So
it's just frustrating to see a non-scientific reporter, again, a lay person, just take everything that fit their bias, including stuff that Alti say about doctors, and throw it into an article and say the whole world sucks unless you love fat people. I can love a fat person, but I'm not going to tell them you're the healthiest person in the world. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I often say to my, daughter and other people who expect me to blow smoke up their ass. I don't blow smoke up your ass. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it to myself either.
Yeah.
I look at my dad who's in his 60s and he looks wonderful. He's always stayed in shape. He's always watched what he's eaten. So I know by his example, it's not just genetics, because I look at my mom and a few years ago just plumped right out. She stopped eating healthy. She stopped being as active. It's not just genetics, whether you're skinny or fat. It's also what you've learned and what you know about what you're facing that you're eating every day. Every time I've seen those shows where people need to lose weight, they show how much they actually eat and then try to tell themselves they don't.
Yeah, one of the things I did agree with in this article is that more has to be done to make healthier foods available to the lower income tax brackets, because the cheap stuff in a grocery store is the stuff that contributes to the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And I
avoid sugar.
I get that. Yeah, avoid too much sugar.
Not cut it out. avoid high sugar, high fat food.
Yeah.
Eat more fruits and vegetables. Eat more celery.
Because socioeconomic status.
You can stomach. I started eating more beef jerky.
Huh. Wow,
Protein,
okay.
Socioeconomic status is a big factor in health in general. It's a well-known problem. I mean, the author of this piece didn't discover that. My goodness, it's been well known, but that's a governmental issue, and doctors can't do that except, push for change in how we fund, subsidize healthier foods rather than the craft dinner.
And guess what? One of those healthier foods is GMOs, because they're cheaper to grow. They take less water, less work.
Yeah.
And they have more. You can actually genetically engineer them to be more nutritious, to contain the vitamins that you need. I mean, the vilification of GMOs, driving people away from healthy choices, has been absolutely mind-bogglingly frustrating.
Yeah, I know that, I don't know, sometimes you buy strawberries and they're like freaking cardboard, right? But probably still a better choice than a chocolate bar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at calorie counts. Get a calorie counter.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not giving yourself heck, you're watching your intake.
Well, just substitute things off for, slightly lower calorie things over time and,
And don't go on a crash diet. Change your life.
Those are all
Change
bad.
your lifestyle.
They mention he mentions Weight Watchers in here as if it was some kind of a fad diet, but it's not. It teaches you how to assess the value in a food. They have a tendency to they do it by a point system, and so foods that are higher in fiber would have fewer points, even if they might have some extra calories involved. It's about changing your eating habits and your food choice habits.
If you eat whole wheat bread with more fiber, you will burn it slower and put it away. Starch, as soon as it hits your mouth, starts getting turned into sugar. That sugar easily goes into a fat cell, converts in your liver to fat. Whereas if you eat something that's going to burn slowly, you're going to burn it off before it turns into fat. I mean, learning these things and knowing what to eat, how to eat helps. It does help. And Weight Watchers will teach you that, and it's not a bad thing.
A comment from Vince. He says he has a few hundred extra pounds and more of him to love. So it's not. We're not into we're not going
to say there's something wrong with you. We're just saying.
As a person, you're no more or less valuable than any other person.
Absolutely.
The fat shaming, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you want to become a healthy weight so that you have less chance of cancer, so you have less chance of diabetes, so you have less chance of heart attacks, you can do it. But you may need to get some resources and help too. I mean, I had to go and learn a lot to help me on my journey. I had to find out, okay, what should somebody my size, my Caucasian, not Asian, body take in a day? And you might have to go to the doctor or a registered dietitian to maybe figure some of these things out. Maybe you need use a support system. But there's nothing wrong with being happy with yourself, of course not. But this article denies the health issues that come with it.
Yeah. But, well, on the other hand, like I said, it's advocating for a more, what's the word I want to use, empathetic form of treatment. And I'm sure that's right,
I'm just not sure it's as big a problem as he makes it out to be.
Yeah. He makes it sound in the article that there's nothing they can do. You're fat.
Yeah.
That is not true. Yeah. Unless there's something seriously wrong with you.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I can see where a GP might make a flippant remark and just not know what the hell they're saying. And if you go to a nutritional, specialist or whatever, that they might have more compassion because they're just a little bit more trained on how to approach this, right? Because I do think, like shaming is probably not going to do any good. For sure, Yeah. I mean, when I wanted to change habits, nobody could have shamed me more than I shamed myself. Do you know what I mean? Right? Like,
and you don't need to hear it from others. You
yes,
hear like when someone told me after I lost 10 pounds that I was getting there, instead of saying, "Oh, good for you," I was pretty mad.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, wow.
I don't want to hear you're getting there. I mean, at the time, that was the most I thought I could lose. And this was like 6 years ago. I thought if I lost any more weight than that, I would be unhealthy. And for them to say I was getting there, just really?
Yeah.
It was a guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, someone I was dating at the time. We aren't anymore.
Yeah, saw that coming. Oh, I think we're at the end of the road.
Yeah.
End of the road.
Call-ins.
No callers.
Just.
But there's going to be some changes in the podcast. I'm dumping these two. Just kidding.
Oh no!
No.
Really? Okay.
No. I've been playing with some new software. I mean, not just the Stream Deck. Oh, I love this thing. This thing is just
new toy.
Awesome. It just fantastic. If anybody who does any live streaming, get one of these things. And you can program it to do anything pretty much. And it's all takes place. You just press the button, forget about it. But I've got a lot of animation software that I'm testing out, which is going to be really, really fun. And it complements some of my other animation software that I had for a while, which is Anime Studio. I got Pop Video, which is going to be interesting to play with. It works with green screen, and you can it's very good chroma key software, and also allows you to put in interesting backgrounds and do all sorts of funky things. And I've got Crazy Talk Animator. It's all from the same company, actually. It's kind of neat. Cool. Crazy Talk Animator is really neat. I almost had something ready for tonight, but I just thought, no, I can't pressure myself to give myself the time and make a decent thing. So it'll be a new intro that'll be fully animated. Doing the whole intro animated. So no more reading a notepad text. And it's neat. It automatically animates the mouth. That is just cool. That is
yeah.
It's before I had to actually kind of place where the phonetics were, and this I don't have to. It totally gets it pretty close to correct as you play the animation. It's really interesting, and it is doing some funny things with my own face. So
cool.
It'd be kind of
and Snapchat. You can do that on Snapchat too. So I'm assuming this technology is becoming more common. Which is nice.
It's interesting. Pattern recognition in audio. It's getting pretty good. So
that's cool. Yeah.
There's also 3D animation software that I got, and it's really quite amazing. I just have to figure out how to what the commands are and stuff like that. So it'll take me. I'm supposed to be working tomorrow. It's tough. It's fun. It's too fun to play with this stuff. But
I bet.
It's really good. It's really interesting. Some of this stuff is very realistic, like very realistic 3D animation. The models are very, very realistic ones. So
cool.
We'll see how it goes. I've tried to put my own face in there, but it doesn't look right. It's too fat a face is what. And in the software that I'm using, you start out bald, so it looks all wrong. It looks all wrong, but it'll get better. And you just have to get used to it, and it's not quite as intuitive as Anime Studio, but we'll see.
Cool.
But, so it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. I want to do. I have to talk about this offline with you too, but I want to do some kind of a piece on microaggressions.
Okay.
And
yeah.
What Daryl Wing, is it Daryl Wing Sue is his name? The guy that popularized the microaggression. You know what? You know what sent him off?
That would have been back in the 70s or so, then?
I don't know if it was that far back, but anyway, this guy's a professor of some bullshit department of I don't know what, but you can guess it's probably in the area of the humanities. And he got all upset when a flight attendant asked him and the person he was with to move so that they could balance the weight, and he got all upset because he thought it was all racist, blah blah blah. I'm like, wow, dude, you're somebody I don't want anywhere near me. you're the technical term for you is a complete prick. It tells me that's the thing. That's the thing about microaggressions. Microaggressions tell me absolutely nothing about the person you claim to have aggressed you. It tells me everything about you.
Well, I think it's a thing, but it's
99%
to what extent do you take it, right?
99%.
Anyway,
I don't believe it. No, don't believe it.
I have to excuse myself briefly. Have we done the out?
Yeah, we're not yet. No. Okay. I guess we'll leave it there, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and then I'll see what's what.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to shut it down. Yeah. Okay.
You've been listening to the Legion of Reason diversion coming to you from Alberta, Canada. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing to our bi-weekly podcast on iTunes and other podcatchers. Even better, subscribe to our YouTube live sessions where you can join in on the discussion. Thanks for giving us a listen. Music and other sound effects under license from audioblocks.com.